Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Everett's magnificent hypnotic question for his mother. Tuesday, April Tuesdays of Our Life spoilers teaser says that Chad DiMera dropped by Abigail DiMera's grave with Easter flowers and shared information about the kids' egg hunt at the Kiriakis estate. Chad admitted that he was to fault for both Clyde Weston's escape and the fire at the Horton house, but he also apologized to Abigail and promised to put things right. Stephanie Johnson joined Julie Williams at the Horton residence, where renovations were progressing quickly. In an attempt to divert Stephanie's attention from everything going on with Everett Lynch, aka Bobby Stein, Julie asked Stephanie for assistance in making design decisions. Since Jada Hunter accused Stephanie of failing to recognize the warning indications of Everett's adultery, Stephanie acknowledged that things had been difficult. Julie insisted Stephanie should focus on herself at this time and rely on her loved ones for support, even if Stephanie wondered if she should feel sorry for Everett. Chad gave Julie his blessing and broke off to look at the kids' newly renovated bedrooms. Chad spoke with Stephanie about his visit to Abigail's cemetery and how he felt guilty for pushing Clyde too far when Julie went to get some snacks from the cooler. Stephanie reassured Chad that he wasn't responsible for the deeds of a monster and offered him the same counsel Julie had given her for finding solace in his loved ones. Julie offered Chad a pep talk and a hug when Stephanie left to handle a new customer since he was crying so hard because he missed Abigail. On Tuesday's episode of Days, Everett showed up for his hypnosis session in Marlena Evans's office, concerned that something had gone wrong. Everett was afraid that he would regain his memories, but Marlena reassured him that she would be by his side the entire time and that he would be in a secure place. After Marlena had put Everett to sleep, he remembered a gazebo beside a creek. Everett's mother, Helen, was there, too, grinning, wearing an apron and having flour on her hands. Marlena wondered whether Everett had anything he wanted to ask his mother when he was there, because he seemed happy about the recollection. "Mum, why did you do that?" Everett's features curled into a scowl as he asked. The situation worsened when Everett became lost in the shadows and noticed the cunning Bobby grinning within his own head. Everett refused to believe that he was secure, despite Marlena's repeated attempts to reassure him. After Marlena eventually calmed him down, Everett pretended that he had trouble remembering things and that there wasn't much more than darkness. When Everett hurriedly left on Tuesday's DOL episode, Marlena appeared worried. Later, Stephanie saw Everett at the pub and accepted his request to sit at a table with him. Everett provided updates about what he saw during his hypnosis session that scared the hell out of him, even though he appeared shaken up and was drinking. On Tuesday's episode of Days, she was having a canoodle with Harris Michaels in bed at Ava Vitale's apartment and wasn't interested in hearing about his return to the Clyde probe just yet. It was obvious that Ava wanted to spend a little more time in her idyllic bubble with Harris. Ava made Harris some French breakfast because he was hungry and recommended that they have a private meal at the bistro later. That sounded good to Harris, so he kept nudging and kissing Ava. Chanel DiMera received a large order at Sweet Bits on Tuesday's show right before she was scheduled to pack up and head home with Johnny DiMera. Although Johnny eventually distracted Chanel with hand touches and neck kisses, he was able to persuade her to allow him to assist. Chanel eventually came to the conclusion that they should hook up on the flour sacks in the storeroom because it wouldn't be against the health code to discard them afterwards. Shortly after, Johnny and Chanel walked to the rear because they thought the idea was good. We'll share our predictions for all the terrible things that are going to happen since spoilers for Days of Our Lives suggest that Chanel and Johnny will have some unpleasant shocks in store. By killing off, spoiler, Days is finally giving viewers what they want. And this is how we find out. Editors have independently selected all of the goods and services that are listed. On the other hand, Soaps.com might get paid a commission for orders made through its retail links, and the retailer might get some data that can be audited for bookkeeping purposes. Though it has taken a while, it appears like Salem will shortly bid adieu to one of its most despised residents. Days of Our Lives is known for having a large number of villains, con artists, and generally unpleasant characters. At least the devil is still absent, though. Not the protective mother side, but the side of the con artist Constantine and Teresa, Stefan, who's nearly dug himself as deep a hole as he could, especially with Xander ready to discover he shot Harris. Naturally, Harris is leaving. The question is not if he will do so in shame for lying to the police or if he will pass away. Bobby, too? Though we're fairly certain we haven't even met that aspect of Everett yet, we're equally certain we won't be fond of him. We remain skeptical that he isn't connected to Clyde in some manner, because Everett always appears to track down drug rings to investigate when he moves. But that takes us to Clyde, the current most despised villain in Salem. He is the one the fans are most eager to bid farewell to forever. While EJ and Nicole might be wondering where Holly obtained her pills, the truth is that Clyde was the source. Even though he didn't sell them himself, his ring supplied them. Oh sure, he's got it coming for him: murder, attempted murder, drug running, overdoses, arson, fooling Nancy into loving him, and just being an all-around jerk. After considering the possibility that Clyde is holed up in the Horton cabin, Johnny and Chanel treated us to a seductive conversation about how much fun they will have up there by themselves. A soap opera cry of "get ready for some party crashers" is virtually always heard when someone emphasizes how alone they will be. With Chad's most recent visit to Abigail's grave, where he promised that Clyde will pay, the program finally sealed the deal. Although he has said this before, it might be the last. Because everything, from his proclamation to the honeymoon in the cabin, is coming together. To learn more about what transpired, see today's recap. It's unclear how exactly he'll confront the evil, but it appears highly likely that he will, and it must be deadly. The key, though, would be to allow Chad to kill Clyde in a way that's clearly a split-second decision of self-defense or in saving someone else, like Chanel and Johnny. The last time Chad had a gun pointed on Clyde, it would have been cold-blooded murder. It's about the only reason EJ talked him into turning the villain over to the police. But that, clearly, didn't work. Prison accomplished absolutely nothing. This time, Salem would finally be rid of Clyde for good, because we really don't see any of the DeMaros directing Dr. Rolfe to revive him. But Chad killing Clyde could also serve a double purpose, ridding Salem of someone who's ruined lives over and over, finally allowing Chad to move on. It's been nearly 2 years since Abigail died, and, while mourning this long in the real world is perfectly understandable, Chad's been kind of stuck since his wife died. We're not saying an eye for an eye, or a kill for a kill, is the right way to go, but at this point, Chad seems to need some sort of kick in the pants to actually move forward. Clyde's death could be it.